What is something that has been eating you up inside and you just need to get off your chest anonymously? I disconnected contact with my mother at the beginning of last year, and then she and her husband went on a campaign of sending me abusive and harassing messages by using different numbers and creating new social media profiles every time I blocked them. I feel like I had a malignant tumor removed. The true confession part of this is that I'm relieved not to be saddled with caring for that toxic old itch or cleaning out her ducking hoarder house when she dies. Girlfriend left me after 8 years. We were high school sweethearts. For a guy she met 2 weeks prior. I don't really feel anything anymore. It makes me not feel human. I feel like I'm going through the motions and everything is just a distraction at this point. I feel lonely. It's not that I'm alone per se, just the people in my life suddenly seem so superficial and distant. Scrolling through social media especially, I get a feeling of disconnect BC of how artificial and impersonal everything is. I hate this feeling of disdain for people I should genuinely care about, but I'm worried that if I ignore it, I'll be sacrificing my own authenticity. Maybe I'm just a bad person. I have cancer. Just found out on Tuesday. How the hell do you tell people? Like, should I just blurt it out? Am I supposed to call people or can I text it? A few close friends I did call, but they didn't answer. So I left them a message to give me a buzz. They haven't called back yet. When someone who doesn't normally call you and does, call them ducking back. I witnessed my best friend drown in a terrible accident. Alcohol was involved. My best friend's parents asked me not to go to the funeral services but wanted to hear the story a mere 2 days following the funeral. I have yet to share my story with them. I don't see the value at this point. It brings me anger almost every day because they asked me not to go to my best friend's services like I was the bad guy. I detest my job so much that it takes an enormous effort to show up every day, and I think I have a drinking problem, but drinking is one of the few joys in my life. I'm meant to be the daddy to triplets, but my wife miscarried and lost all 3. I've been too caught up in making sure she's okay to have even had a chance to process this myself. Fear of never finding somebody who I love and they love me. I want to leave my wife, but I don't want to lose my kid. It's been 2 years and I feel incapable of getting over my ex. I've tried to date so many other people but never feel anything close to that connection I had with my ex. Even on our first date, I've tried to hold out. Not everyone will spark right away, but they seem to fall for me and it pains me to hurt them in the same way I've been hurt. Not something I've got anyone to speak to about, but taking steps to get some professional help. I think I need a therapist. If you have a weak stomach, or don't like reading about periods, scroll on. I started my period when I was about 9. 9-year-olds are obviously not the most hygienic, responsible people. My mom also didn't often put me in clothes that fit, or any clothes I was comfortable in. I was a weird child. I hated having panties touch me. This, accompanied by the fact that tampons were pretty foreign to my family, put me in some uncomfortable situations. Like the time I was being made to wear a giant pad, in shorts, in public. Nothing was pulled up to where it was supposed to be placed. I was uncomfortable and I fidgeted the whole time we were grocery shopping, and suddenly, I was just comfortable. I got home, and my pad was gone. Yeah, it fell out down an aisle in Kroger. I've never mentioned this to anyone. I've come to the undeniable realization recently that many of the people around me like my family but don't really like me. My brother is for whatever reason extremely likable. I'm a girl but I see a lot of resemblance personality wise between us, and people just gravitate towards him but are only cordial towards me. I have been letting my life self-destruct the past year after my best friend died and use a disgusting amount of drugs to cope with it. The new live action Lion King isn't live action. God damn it. It's CGI. That's animation. God, I want to punch my Facebook feed. I'm so sick of people getting all upset whenever I bring up my boyfriend. My coworkers are constantly talking about women they find hot, or who they banged. And one dude is constantly going on about how he and his wife are trying for a baby, but I bring up my boyfriend in any capacity and people are quick to remind me that they don't want to hear about that yet. It's extra annoying when someone asks me about who I'm dating and I answer truthfully. School gives me anxiety now. I just want to stay in bed all day. I've always been the perfect kid, the goody two shoes, the A+ student, and I really don't want to disappoint my parents, but I want to throw up just in thinking of waking up and going. I can't settle on what I want to do with my life. I've tried different types of jobs and looked into different lines of work. I want to go back to school, but can't decide for what. It's super frustrating, and I feel incredibly stuck. When I was 22, my dad died. I was absolutely destroyed by it. Recently my mother told me he wasn't my real dad. Some other guy was. He's still living, married to the same woman he was with when he stepped out with my mother. He and I have connected. Hit it off. I care about him. etc. I have 2 siblings who didn't know I existed. His wife didn't know either. They all just found out and it hit the fan. Now his wife has forced him to dial back his relationship with me. Siblings have not reached out to me at all. I was a dirty secret for a bit, and now I'm a burden to his family simply by my having been born. I have a wonderful family. Had a great daddy who died too early. I feel guilty for my interest in my biological father. He is my bio. Had that confirmed, and I'm drowning in shame and guilt over what his family is going through. I know none of this is even remotely my fault, but I feel bad just the same. I miss my daddy. I want this other new dad. I have my amazing siblings, and I want these new siblings too. I've lost so much of my identity in such a jarring way, and now I'm grasping at what is left of me and ducking hell. I'm so lost. I'm hurt. I'm so damn hurt by it all. No, Dad, insert website, wasn't hacked. They just changed the layout. No, I can't change it back. I'm clinging to a man that I know has no interest in a future with me. won't let him go. I'm 18 months into my official recovery from anorexia today, and don't know how to share my milestone with the people who matter. Also, my dog died a week ago. : I'm tired of being sad. Just really tired. Need a break from life. I used to think my best friend's wife was annoying, but now I think she's cute and I'm starting to like her. I'm not happy. I haven't been in a long time, and I'm just so alone. I'm a retired crack whore. I'm only 19, so I got lots of life and my plan is to spend it completely sober. My boo said he wanted the same. He said he's been clean, but his friend told me he's been doing meth and drinking and taking pills behind my back. He's in a detox center now. IDK if I want to stay with him. I need to see a doctor about my ongoing 8-week headache. At this point I just don't want to know. I've been suicidal for the last decade and the thoughts have increased with frequency and intensity over time. My loved ones know this, but I stopped self-harming 5 years ago and I've lost 2 very close people to suicide, so it's considered to be off the table. I've reassured them that it's not an option many times, and have mostly believed it myself. For the last month or so, the thoughts have been different. They've become practical. I have a detailed to-do list for getting my house in order to make it as easy as possible for my partner. I recently updated my beneficiaries. I've been logging access information for utility accounts just in case. I've settled on a method and a time frame. The only thing not settled is location. On some of my better days, I've tried to reach out. I only really hang out with one person, but she was busy that day. When she asked why, I said I just really need a friend right now. She's my best friend, but she never brought it up again, so neither did I. I tried to bring it up with my partner, but he said something really insensitive and stopped me from sharing. I feel so isolated. If I don't tell anyone, I think I'll follow through. It's what I want, but I don't want to do this to them. But no one is listening. I don't think I'm going to have another birthday. I feel conflicted with my sexuality at times because I'm attracted to men and women, but not feminine women and masculine men. It's the reverse. But while I prefer relationships with androgynous women, I'm more sexually turned on by really feminine guys. Ones that dress like girls but don't identify as girls. They aren't easy to find. And the ones that I do find aren't into women at all. If I tell people what I want, I'm told that I'm a freak or just a lesbian trying to get hetero approval. Why does nature have to be cruel to me? Long-winded. My girlfriend broke up with me a week and a half ago. We had broken up for a day or two a few weeks before, but we reconciled, and for the next few weeks everything was good. Met her grandparents, who she said loved me more than any other boy they've met. We had some really great positive moments from then until a week and a half ago when I hadn't seen her for a few days and came over one night to sleep over and noticed she had this blank look on her face. So I gently touched her face and asked what was wrong when she uttered those awful words, "I think we should break up." She gave me some smaller reasons about why she felt that way, but ultimately felt like I wasn't someone she saw herself spending her life with. She asked me to leave, and since then I have felt so broken inside. I've been through this kind of heartache before and knew I should just leave it, but I love her with every fiber of my being and just had to reach out after a week or so. She answered my call and reiterated what she said. I then broke down again and texted her earlier today to much of the same conversation, except this time she was yelling, telling me how much of a turn off it is for me to be so self-centered, to keep trying to reconcile, and that she doesn't want to be with me ever. So, yeah. I know I should have just kept NC this entire time, but my emotions got the better of me. Maybe it's because it was her birthday yesterday. I wished so badly to spend it with her. Now I'm left to pick up the pieces and try and make myself happy in the moment. Just hurts to be told they don't love you anymore. I think I need to speak with a professional about my mental health, but I cannot afford it right now. I'm glad more celebrities and athletes are speaking up regarding mental health, but of course they can afford it. I understand it's important, but I can't afford thousands or even hundreds of dollars to spend on a psychiatrist or even to do a sleep study for my nightmares. What does something like this even cost? I don't have very good insurance. It's basically the lowest one I could get to avoid a penalty on my taxes. I don't mind spending the $40 copay for a general doctor's visit, but this would be a specialist beyond a general visit. Is there a payment per visit, or is it for the entire treatment? I have to do some research on my own, but curious if anyone has dealt with this. I appreciate everyone's support and encouragement. I'm going to look into this more in depth and see about getting my anxiety and nightmares under control. I constantly have existential crises and sometimes think of offing myself. I'm a 42-year-old virgin with no social skills. I've never been loved. I don't even know what a hug feels like. I will most likely die single. Couple of weeks ago I met someone at an airport in Europe. Due to some unfortunate delays and cancellations, we ended up spending quite a lot of time together that evening, and I felt that we had this rare connection that just doesn't happen every day or even every decade. I don't think I've ever felt like that with someone I just met. It was so incredibly easy and so comfortable to be around him. He got my jokes and I got his, and it all felt right. As silly as it is, I miss him and being around him more than I care to admit. He's married, lives in another city and another country than me. I don't know his name, apart from a very common first name. Since he's married, nothing happened, as I didn't want either to be that person. But for some reason I can't get him out of my mind. I have no way of contacting him and I will never see him again. I regret not getting a chance to say goodbye after the plane landed. We didn't sit close to each other. Went separate ways to border control and his connecting flight. I was staying in that city. I just wanted to tell him I'm glad we met. I started a blog. Bought my own domain name and everything. It's about biking, and the day I made my first post everyone started telling me to get my driver's license and get a car. No one understands I don't want a car. I've made it 27 years without a car or a driver's license. I like staying in shape. I like spending the day biking to another city for lunch. I don't give a duck that my work isn't on a bus route and it's snowing. I bought new tires to deal with the snow. Just everyone needs to duck off and stop telling me how to live my life. I'll learn to drive when I damn well feel like it. The last serious relationship I had ducked me up sexually. Like he had me post in Gone Wild. Have since deleted account. BTW. And have a sex with random strangers. All unprotected with no concern. Even videoed the encounters so he could watch as often as he wanted. And when I told him how much I hated it, he would just say how he could never love someone so closed-minded. This started when I was 18. I'm 24 currently. I just got out of this on July. Met an amazing guy recently. He's the only person I've ever told about this. And he left me, saying that he wants me back when he gets it together. Now I just feel empty and broken. I know I'm young and that I will move on someday, but it definitely feels like I'm not good enough for anyone, and I will be alone forever. Most of my friends and people I meet seem unable to communicate unless it's through trash talk. I think it's cringeworthy, to the point where it nearly hurts me physically. I find it repulsive, and I have a hard time accepting that I seem to be in the minority with my opinion. I feel like I'm completely disconnected with everyone in my life, but have no basis for this feeling. I'm 29F, own my own business, have a fantastic apartment downtown. I'm loved by so many people. I've got more friends than I can count, but I'm the person that everyone leans on, and I have no one to lean on. I just want someone to check in on me and care about my well-being and not just assume because I'm positive and successful that there aren't times that I need someone to be there for me. So reminder, check on your strong friends. For my Star of the Week presentation in 3rd grade, I posted a photo of me beneath a pagoda and told everyone I went to Japan, but really it was just Epcot. Lately I have been thinking that the problem is me. Worse yet, I have no idea what to do about it. A few weeks ago, I pulled out of my driveway, drove a few feet, and a stray cat fell out of my car, like where the engine is, and I hit it. I didn't know, I didn't mean to, but my kids were in the car and didn't realize what happened, so I just kept going. We've been through a really traumatic year, and all I could think was that if I kept going, they wouldn't know. They'd be fine. But if I stopped, they'd be screaming bawling messes for weeks. They're still so fragile right now. I saw a car going the opposite way, stopped for it. I feel so much shame for not stopping, and I wonder what happened to it. If it survived, I'm glad someone was a better person than I was, but it doesn't take away the way I feel about myself for handling it that way. If it had been just me, I would have stopped, but I just couldn't bring myself to upset my kids after everything they've been through. But now all I can think is they have a garbage human being for a mom. I think my medication is causing me to have anxiety attacks, and I feel as though I have no control over it. I started taking Imuran to treat a potential autoimmune condition, joint pain, diarrhea, ANA markers, about 5 weeks ago, and it is not helping yet. I have struggled with depression and mild anxiety for the past 5 years. I am 19 and am studying engineering, and I am too young for this. I struggle to relax fully, and I am scared that I will not be able to be an engineer if this doesn't get better. I just need to talk to someone about it. Working on that, since I bottle everything up. Thanks for reading. Have a nice day. I went to 2 sessions with a psychiatrist and we did not mesh well. I know I'd benefit from seeing one, but the thought of having to find one that works is daunting. I am very afraid of the future. I oftentimes feel like I can never pursue my dreams because I am not good enough. I want to be a comedy writer, but I never grew up writing or acting like everyone else who wanted to be those things. I have never made an attempt because I am afraid of not being good at it. It's like everyone finds their calling and I cannot find mine. I recently turned 60. Suddenly it seemed like everything hurt. My knee, my back. I have lifted and run for years. Wrestled and jiu-jitsu for years. Thought that's all over. Then yesterday I got with some old friends. Wound up wrestling for several hours and had a blast. I am not dead yet. I have no clue what I am doing with my life. I just wander on, emotionless, empty and tired. It takes 32 seconds of holding down the plunger to fully flush my toilet and it makes me want to die. Religion ducking bothers me. I have this feeling about it most of the time. When I was a kid I heard a gunshot while walking down a street. I ran back home, fast as I could, went to my room and watched TV to calm myself down. Didn't tell anybody. 2 hours passed, and the phone rang. Mom told me my uncle died of a gunshot wound, trying to stop a fight nearby. At the funeral we were told my uncle could have lived if paramedics arrived earlier. For 20 years I've always thought I could have saved him. NSFW. I'm a female in my late 20s and sexual activity has never felt good. I've been masturbating since I was a kid and it either feels like rubbing an elbow or feels painful when I stimulated clitoris. I can orgasm, but it's just a few clamps of my muscles, with no pleasure attached. and I don't feel relaxed after. I've tried all kinds of ways of exploring my body. I've also tried seeing various OBGYNs and they always tell me to relax, ABD, drink some wine or to find a partner. They never find anything with my hormones or can tell me what's wrong. The most they've said is that I have pelvic floor issues and can't be penetrated. They usually just act patronizing like I'm wrong about my body when I try to explain. It's embarrassing and because of it I haven't dated anyone since I was a teenager. I feel like I'm broken and I'll never get better or find a partner who loves me. I just got my second abnormal pap smear. It was low grade, which isn't bad, but the next step would be a procedure called a colposcopy, which I do not want to do. I saw my result online but my gym never called to discuss the results. It's been over a month and I'm too afraid to call her. I wish my mom would learn how to clean. She just waits about 3 to 5 years and I always get stuck helping deep clean. Like she's a grown adult. Why can't she clean her damn house? Also, she's only 50 and she complains about getting old and not being able to do things. Yet she won't hire a cleaner because she's embarrassed. She doesn't do anything to keep up with her health or her house and she won't go see a therapist. I'm at a loss of how to handle it. I've just been keeping my distance, but I wish for once she could see how much her life could be if she took care of herself. In 6 days I'm officiating the wedding of the girl I love. Spoiler alert, she's not marrying me. I thought I was handling it well, but tonight I read her vows, and it crushed me inside. We're longtime friends, and I'm still glad I decided to say yes when she asked me to do the ceremony. But damn, I thought I had gotten over feeling like this. To forestall the inevitable comments about it, she knows how I feel about her. We sat down and had a serious conversation about it a while ago, and I respect that she doesn't feel the same about me. Still feels bad, man. 2 years ago I absent-mindedly ripped a silent but deadly fart at work that was absolutely venomous. At the same time another co-worker ripped a little baby toot. Everybody was laughing at him when our boss walked in the room right into my poison cloud. I let him take the fall. I'm in love with my best friend and seeing her with her new BF makes me want to cry. This thread is 8 hours long and it's 3 AM, so truly I can get this off my chest with the lowest odds of anyone seeing it. I'm experiencing my first bouts of depression that are truly altering my view on my life. I battled with depression, like many do and have, through most of my life. It's the cycle of bad times. It hides for some time, and then returns. However, as of late, the thought of whether it's all worth it has begun to cross my mind. I don't believe I'm by any means in any danger. Absolutely not. But I'm suddenly in a spot where I'm beginning to think that nothing matters, and truly doesn't, and won't in the grand scale. I've known this and accepted it, but I always remind myself that the good times will roll around again. But now I'm beginning to wonder if the large amounts of down times are worth it. I guess it's been in my mind because it almost feels like a seed has been planted. And although I'm fine now, I wonder if years down the road I'll be able to brush it off as easily I can today. ADK. It's weird. I should sleep.